closer, closer. What a day. So, thanks everybody. I don't know what this is, trying to move up my sleeves, all that stuff. Snow will begin at 3:17 p.m. Start talking about creativity today. And today I want to show you guys and share with you guys, mainly share. I want to share with you guys something that's been on my mind, and I saw the video that Casey Neistat posted a while ago, kind of like before the new year, about he's looking for a creator, somebody to help create the brand of 368. And when I saw that and I saw the video, I was super excited. The prize was $5,000. Go to work at 368 office, work with Casey on the 368 brand, and it was going to be sponsored by Adobe. So, like a lot of people, I think there was like 12,500 people who applied. I went nuts, tried to apply with all my years experience, really kind of like, he caveated the whole video by saying he's looking to hire somebody, which was great. That got me excited because I have 20 years of experience in branding and in advertising, so what better way to connect with him, with my profession, my skill sets, and things that I'm passionate about. So after kind of the dust settled, I didn't hear much about it, and I probably got passed over for one reason or another. I'm not exactly sure, but he created this new video that was a couple weeks ago, and it was talking about the mini documentary he ended up making with his friend Max, and it was sponsored by Adobe, with 3 creators that he picked to help develop this brand for 368. So, like anybody who's interested in 368, I decided to dive in, look at what was going on, look at the video, and it was really inspiring. It was really inspiring to see that he picked 3 people of different backgrounds. One was a videographer, one was a photographer, and another one was a graphic designer, to kind of develop this and help develop this brand out. He did a kind of behind the scenes video, and then the main video, the main documentary, mini documentary, was shown on Adobe's Creative Cloud YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen it, I'll link it somewhere. You guys can check it out. With all that said, when I was applying, I already knew exactly kind of what I wanted to see or how I wanted to develop the 368 brand. And, the video, the little mini documentary, left me inspired to actually show you, and left me inspired to share with you what I thought it should be. So this is a video about how I would create the 368 brand. So at its core, 368 is a creative share space. It's kind of like the birth child of Casey Neistat, and in order for me to create an effective brand, I really needed to look at what it represented. What is Casey Neistat? Who is Casey Neistat? What does he represent? And I've been following his content for a while, his career path for a little bit, and the one thing that I drew upon and what resonated with me is that Casey is a creator, he's a maker, a person that is dedicated to his craft, dedicated to storytelling, but he's also a person that will get down and dirty and do all the work. So I think that's a really important aspect to 368, because it will inevitably be linked to him. No matter what, it should be kind of like, from a brand perspective, related to his work ethic. And if you've noticed on his forearm, he has "do the work," and it's a really great kind of look at the type of person that he is. The starting point of it all, we need to look at kind of like the methods and the philosophy behind 368, and at its core, 368 is a creative space where people can come, collaborate, smaller YouTubers, smaller creators can come and collaborate, get help on what they're trying to do. From what I understand, it's also gear loaning. They will help you develop what you need. They will have podcasts. I guess I'm presuming they will have well, they've shown it. They will have an area where you can do podcasts, an area where you can shoot photos and videos and all these great things. So it's a space, and what resonated with me is that it is a space. And with that, I wanted to kind of utilize the 368, the numbers, as spaces. So this idea, and I'm really a big fan of Ray Gun Magazine and David Carson, and how it's more of a kind of deconstructed design method. So the first thing I needed to do was look at the typography. Look at typography, because 368 is a series of numbers, and typography will play a key role in creating the logo, word mark, whatever you want to call it, the brand. I went through all of my typefaces that I had in my system, in my computer. So what I ended up doing is I ended up kind of falling into, or like stopping on Avenir. I think Avenir is a great typeface. So right here we have 368 in Avenir. I don't think, it's a very nice and clean typeface. Nothing too kind of overly, overly designed about it. Like it's a nice typeface. I think that's what a good starting point is. I just don't want to give them or design 368 in any kind of brand, in any kind of, and really in any kind of brand that you develop. You don't just want to give them a typeface and say, here you go, that's, here's Avenir in 368. Anybody can do that. So, that's really kind of not ideal. So this will be the starting point, and I have a good idea. And what I wanted to do really is to start by looking at it and looking at all of these kind of spaces here, the negative spaces. And I want to start filling them in, and I don't know if you can see this, but, I'm just kind of looking at kind of like how shapes can form within 368. Within the structure, because like I said before, it is a kind of what resonated with me is the idea of space, the idea that 368 is a space. So filling those in, what I'm going to do is I'll just get an overlay here so that you guys can actually see what my plan is, and I already had the idea. So finding an extra piece of paper is a little difficult around here. I don't use that much, so I'm just going to use my trusty sketchbook to make my point. And we'll go to nice open page. Here we go. Excuse me, I'm going to do this. So we have this kind of 368. Right, and right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, put this underneath, and hopefully you guys can see what I'm planning on doing. Hopefully you can see. I can just barely see it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw the baseline. Very simple. Draw a baseline for that. Draw a cap height here, for there. And this is going to be very just rough. I'll probably darken it up sooner or later. Drop in the X height, which will probably be here. Okay, so have my heights, and the first thing I want to do is I want to beef up the 6, because if you remember, I'll show you, that 6 is not heavy enough for me. So I'm going to just kind of sketch out the volume and the size of what I really kind of like imagine this typeface to be, this new typeface to be. And I want it to be a space, so there's a lot of importance that I want in this. So I'm just kind of drawing out exactly, kind of, not exactly, but generally where I want it to size. I'm just kind of building it out a little bit here and there. So as you can see, hopefully you guys can see, it's like just starting to build it out. Let me just grab a Sharpie of some sorts so you can see better. So as I'm going through this, I'm just kind of imagining all of the elements that I want to exist in this typeface. And I think for the most part, I want the body, that base, the body, the roundness of the 6 to kind of take over kind of that design. Because I think it's very important to have it kind of express the idea of space, you know? I think that's important. Because in the end, it is about the space. So you can see it's starting to take shape. It's a little rough, but I'll clean it up later. And there's the basis of that 6. And so what I want to do for the 8 is kind of mimic that, but I don't want it to be exactly the same. So I want to mimic the volume and the size of, or just mimic that kind of space. Again, this is just rough. And the upper part, I just want it to be slight. You know, I don't want it to be completely kind of lost in the size difference. And I think that's not too bad, right? That's not too bad. It's just rough. I don't need it to be perfect. Not yet anyways. It's starting to look a little interesting. I'll clean this up once I get it down on a computer. And now we'll go with the 3. 3, I want to take this volume and I want to mimic that over here. So it's kind of the same. We're going to kind of draw it in. And I'm not worried too much about it being perfect. I just want it to be representative of kind of like the spatial volume. When it comes to kind of like how I see things, because I am such a fan of design, because that's how I got my start, is in graphic design, I tend to look at different design movements, different design aspects in the work that I do. So with this, I really kind of wanted to add a little bit of kind of like that Soviet constructivism. And so with the 3, I didn't want to make the 3 the same kind of like round area as in the Avenir, but I wanted to give it a nice flatter edge. So I want to give it that top flat edge. Drop that down and then just make a little bit of an angle. We don't want too big of an angle and we don't want too small of an angle. The danger with it really is that it starts to look like a 5 if you're not careful. Because the idea, or my idea that I have, is to design this in a way where we don't have any negative space in the typeface. So none of these cavities that make up a typeface. So I think I'm gonna finalize that here, and let's just go and just cutting that off there. Just making sure that we get some resemblance of a 3. And I will revise this in Illustrator, in Adobe Illustrator. That's my brand or logo design application of choice. And I think that's kind of it. I wanted to really ensure that this edge here really reads as a 3. And that's the key, is I'm not really playing with the entire space. Like the 6 and the 8 are very they're very self-explanatory of what they are, right? In terms of a typeface. 6 is 6, 8 is an 8. The 3 is the tricky part. So we just need to design this in a way, and I think this is looking pretty good beyond the refinement. But we can read the 3 from the edge, and hopefully once I refine it even more, it will be a lot more clear. And that's it. That's my 368 concept for the 4368. In the end, I wasn't looking at color, I wasn't looking at texture, because normally I would build out a brand guideline document showing what colors are used and what typefaces are for body copy and all this stuff, but this is just kind of like the starting point. I want to keep 368 as shapes so that it can be organic and can be the container for whatever's created at 368. So from a branding perspective, it is the space, it is the container at which people create within 368. I think that's important, and I think that's something that resonates with what 368 is hopefully going to be in the near future. So if you like this video, please like it. I'm gonna just throw up a little mini refined version of the logo with a little maybe some animation or something like that, just to show you at the end what I see it as a more of a finished product. So again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about building your own brand, or where to go, how to start your own creative business, anything, just leave it in the comments. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Every subscriber helps. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. And just as a side note, Casey, if you're watching this, I don't know if I'm in frame anymore. Casey, if you're watching this, thanks for watching. Hopefully you like the design that I did. And if you want, feel free to use it. Just hit me up in a message, in the comments, wherever. Get in touch with me. I'm glad to hand this over. I'm glad to give it over to 368, because I think what you're doing for smaller creators, and I think what you're doing overall is amazing, and I would like to support it in any way. So if you want to use this 368 logo, feel free. With that being said, hopefully I'll see you guys next time, and I will catch you later. I don't think that was a good outro or ending. Bye.